You know, I'm going to put a charge in this. I'm going to put a charge in this magneto here. And you see what I got out here for an example is this is a 1.5 right here. This is a 3 horsepower, and that right there is a 6 horsepower. Type L, this one, type L, this one, and this is a type R. It's got a bigger magnet on it. This is the original one off the engine, very early. The difference being is the size of the gear. The R has a higher current output, I think. But this one right here, you can see has been modified as to the front of the housing has been broken away or ground. Actually, it's a nice job, and someone has installed a larger magnet. That's possibly a John Deere size. I'll have to check that. But okay, we'll put a rule on that. And the first example there, that's a Mogul. It's an accurate. That's an accurate mag right there, and it's a brass case, and but it's got a Mogul type gear on it. It seems to be kind of equivalent to the R, you know. So, but not to be aluminum band. The graphics on it is quite nice. Replacement. I kind of like it. Well, go ahead and log it in. Log it in on your measurements there. Go ahead and log it in. This magnet right here is the one that Mr. Jim White done already give to me to find out what it would go up on with. It's got an international logo imprinted into that. So it's international horseshoe magnet, but it don't fit anything out here as to know immediately it's not the correct one, as is the case here. The L mags and the accurate also, and the R, they have 2 magnets on them. If you take this band off, there's 2 magnets in there, as is the case here. There's 2 1-inch magnets on an L mag, as in the R and the accurate. If you look inside, you'll see that it's 2 horseshoe magnets together. So immediately that rules this out as a international type RL or accurate. So, and it also rules this one out as being original. It attests to how it's wider this way. But and the task at hand is to put a charge on here. Recharge. We're going to recharge these magnets, as apparently they've lost some attraction. But I will show you something that, you know, it don't have none of that right there. But if you put this light on here, like I did in that last video, I'll show, look at this. I'm not going to turn the light out or nothing. It's all be right up here. But I think we'll be able to see it. When you turn this, oh yeah. When you turn this, it lights that light up a lot. Well, actually, I think this light, to describe it to you, I'm not sure on that one, but it's a green LED as compared to this is a, and I think this is the same case. You can look in the clear plastic there and almost see a little resistor in there. I'm almost positive of that. Maybe wrong, but it's rated at 12 volts, both of these. But it's the current that it takes to, if you're just using a LED as a test lamp, the forward voltage, I think is what they call it, is how much current it takes to light this up. So you can actually have this on here, and you can make you can make that light up and have low current voltage off the magneto, because it don't take very much to light that up. Just saying. And two, I didn't produce no spark with that. To produce a spark, you have this is only like a generator, and then the breaking of the contacts is what produced the sparks, you know. So, well, on this one right here too, I'll mention it to you. It actually is enough of a, I'm just going to describe it to you and you'll know what it is. On the back of these L mags, let's say, even that accurate is that way in the R. When it come from the factory, they had a little line in there. Most of the time it was an X. One going this way and one going that way at a certain amount of degrees from the center line of that thing. And this one don't have that, very plain. Okay, well, this one right here is quite, see that cross hatch right there, and it says right and left. Some of them are marked that way, but this R mag has a line straight up and down and one to the over yonder way. At the one, if you're looking at the back of it, if you're taking notes, see who's paying attention. If you're looking at the back of that mag, that hash mark, if you was comparing it to 2 o'clock, is at the almost 1 o'clock position of your hand on your clock. So you can just imagine that if there's not a line there, you can just imagine that position in relative to the back of this thing, and you'll be good to go. This one is marked quite deeply, both the armature shaft and to explain the timing, I guess, so to speak, where I'm going with this is, you know, this is marked pretty good too, is on timing these things here, these L mags that are type M International McCormick-Deering, is you when you put this in there and you mess these gears up on the back here, you want that mark that's on the armature in there. Okay, right there it lines up, so like that right there. So this mag is in time perfectly now. So all you got to do is manage to shove it up in that crankcase and bolt it down and it not move from that position. That's all there is to that. We'll get some, I think we'll put some, a set of, well, let's charge this up. Well, with just these probes hooked up and the meter on DC volts, we'll see what the numbers are. And that's just turning it by hand. So it looks like about the highest I'm getting is a 0.8 in that direction over there. In the direction back this way, 5 or 6, possibly a 0.8. So, and there's still no magnetism in the magnet. So let's charge it up and then we'll see what we got. As to, we're going to put a charge in this magneto. And what I went and done is I put the magnet on the magneto, and I put the magnet on here, and I put the magnet here, and I put the magnet here, and I discovered that one's north and one's south, and one's north and one's south, and you don't want them to be on the same side. So, and all, it's all you do. I mean, it's going to be so fast you think you ain't seen nothing. But you align equal spacing, you know, to give it the best chance you can. I made these blocks one time. They seem to work pretty good and about the right length. If you align them with the magnet, same width this way and that way. And I feel on this one right here, it needs a little magnetism a little higher up. So I'm going to add this block right here. So, you know, everything's true and plumb and pretty much in line. And I'm not sure what position this, well, I am too. You can see it right here on the back. So right there is where it would be ready to spark. And if it was opposite turning, it would be equally on this amount of time over here. But this one has the armature inside there, band removed, Bosch-charger. It's a recharge. That's all I'm doing here is recharging this magnet. And it's hooked up to a well-charged new 12-volt battery. It has a heavy-duty on and off switch here. It's the amp turns that's important in a magnet charger, if I may mention that. It's how many amp turns you have in your winding as to how good it is. So, well, with that said, like I say, you ain't gonna see nothing. You might see a little attraction of something somewhere or another, but other than that, and for myself, I do position a compass in the vicinity of one of these cables, and that way when you energize it, it will activate that compass right there, and you can tell if you're actually doing something. So, but it's 12-volt battery, just hooked up in a series there, and it's got one of them. Well, that's a heavy duty monetary on switch right there. You know, locks in gear like come off of a big truck. So I'm just going to energize it there for some amount of time, about 3 times or so. So, okay. See, it pegged that needle right there. It's on now. That thing's putting some well, see, that was pretty good there. I didn't even time it, but that was a pretty good amount of time. And you know, they say you can beat on them with a hammer and all that kind of stuff, you know. And but I'm gonna give it another one. See it activate that. So it pegged it out. So we putting some amps through there, but it's amp turns. So I think if you read the directions in some journals, it says that you can just instantly, like, you know, like that quick right there, you done charged it. Well, you know, I mean, we over here, why don't we put some more in it? You know what I mean? You know, if you're going to charge it up, you know, charge it up. But no, all kidding, all playing around and everything, we done charged it too much. So let's get off there, and we'll look at that spark over there on the bench. We will observe that little light, that little LED right up there, as to any indication of this having more output, not spark, than before. I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to turn this gear in this direction over here. If you're looking at this from this side over here, the rotation is this way, the way the crank rotates. So, but we're keeping an eye, and as we focus on that little light bulb right there, I'll turn this. A considerable amount of brightness with just and taking note of the fact that as I turn this right there, at that point right there, I feel a magnet attraction. So I have to put a little, I have to exert some energy in order to pull it away from that. Okay, we'll put the meter on it and see what the numbers is, if they are different. Keeping in mind the forward voltage that's required to, well, we have a flying insect in the house today. The forward voltage required to light a LED. But with that said, we'll hook up this I'm going to hook that on that output right there. Then I'm going to ground it on this. That's one of them flip top lids right there, and that's over. So I'm going to set it up there on AC voltage. Supposedly these puts out an AC current somehow, maybe. Look it up. So we on a AC voltage. I'm going to turn her on. Now, we'll take note of that digital dial there if we can see it. The first turn that I made just using my fingers to turn it was a 1.3. Greatly encouraged with that. I think if you hook a drill to it and turn it at some sensible RPMs, I think it's supposed to be about 6 or 8 volts. But see, it's pretty easy to get a 6.4 there. 8.2. So, let's get her back on the engine. You know, the real test is if it fires that igniter with a bright blue spark.